Hey everybody, how you doing? So today I want to talk about, or basically answer the most common questions that men ask regarding their emotional and mental health. Because as we know, there's been a lot of campaigns that aim at reducing suicide figures and to break down the barriers for men to get support. So as a result, over the past few years, more men have been turning to therapy. So I've actually been working with a lot of men in my practice, and I don't want to generalize as everyone's different, but seem to ask similar questions at the start of therapy. And these questions obviously are also relevant to women too, but the first one's usually is am I normal? Or am I crazy? And this basically speaks to the isolation that can affect anyone who's struggling with mental health issues. But men can be particularly vulnerable because men can be less likely to feel comfortable raising these emotional problems with another mate or another friend. We've got banter, a bit of piss taking, and this sometimes can be a barrier to getting support. So cultural attitudes such as, boys don't cry and, man up, these can sometimes put pressure on a man to look like they're coping when they're not really. So another question is can I change? And I say yes, and that's not just a blanket yes, because no one's journey is the same and positive, sustainable change looks different for everyone. Sometimes when men start therapy, there's an urgency to change as maybe their relationships are on the line. But you've got to remember that some of these issues that men bring are underpinned by patterns of behaviours and beliefs that they've been living with for years. So some of these changes can happen immediately and others may take some time. Another very popular question is, why am I so angry? So for one reason or another, a lot of men have found a great place to hide their feelings rather than to share them. And they can tend to hide difficult emotions and thoughts from themselves and others. And we tend to hide them using drugs, alcohol, sex, food, gambling, and just working all the time. And anger can often be the same because anger is often more acceptable in men than other emotions, especially fear or anxiety. And of course, what you saw growing up also matters too, because we learn a lot from those who raised us, including our approach to conflict and our emotional well-being. So then we come up to the point where are there any techniques that can help me? So in my experience, men tend to ask this more than women. Some might say this because, men might approach their problems practically. But I also suggest that it's a feeling of vulnerability of asking another one for help, especially when you're not used to it. And techniques can seem like a great swift solution. But when I work with my clients to develop suitable strategies to help them, but the work will always focus on what that underlying cause is. So these are just a few questions that men ask when they start therapy, and obviously it's not just men. But while struggling with emotional health can leave us all feel broken or weak, it can definitely be difficult to ask for help, even if you feel like you've got no choice. But I'll always celebrate you and celebrate anyone that has the courage, a man or woman, who opens up to getting some help, and even if it's the first time. So keep your chin up, smile, and stay positive. We'll talk again next time.